Thank you all for joining us for Real Talk with Arlette. I'm sure you guys have been wondering where I've been. Well, I have had a significant loss over the last, year and a half. It started with a breakup of a 30-year marriage, and during that time also dealing with my father, who was very, very ill with Alzheimer's. And it got to the point where I had to move my parents in with me so that I could help care for my father, which was great. But at the same time, I didn't realize that while I was grieving the loss of my 30-year marriage, I'm also having to, help see my father deteriorate before my eyes, which was somewhat part of the grieving process. So that's where I've been. I would love to tell you that I'm no longer grieving, but that is certainly not the case. I am sure that there are millions of people out there that have lost loved ones, that have gotten divorced, that have lost children. And there is no set time for grief. And gosh, my dad died in November. He was only with me 6 months. He lasted 6 months after I moved him and my mother in. And it's only been 7 months since he's passed. And there are 5 stages to grief. First, you're in denial, and you're confused. Then you're angry. You're frustrated. You have anxiety. Then you're bargaining. You're trying to find meaning. You're trying to understand why you've lost your loved one. And then there's depression. You're overwhelmed. You're helpless. And then there's acceptance. I'm not there yet. I am somewhere between bargaining and depression. What I will say is that I have good friends. I have good family members, and that have been very supportive of me. I'm finally to the point now where I can actually talk about it, which is why I'm sharing this with you today, in the hopes that I can help others out there who may be struggling with grief right now, whether it be grief from getting divorced, because that's like death, or if you're grieving a loss of a parent or a significant other. That is why I'm sharing my story with you today. I have been stuck. The only way I could describe it is that it's like being at a 4-way intersection and all of the lights are red. And I have never felt that in my life. I have always been driven, self-motivated. When I wanted something, I would set goals and just hustle until I got it. I have never, ever been able to not move. And for the last 7 months, I have not been able to move, like stuck at the red light. But it wasn't until I had a very good friend of mine called me out of the blue. And every now and then I would talk to this person, just, checking in. But this particular time, they had a come to Jesus meeting with me. And let's just say, when someone puts a mirror in your face, it hurts. It's not pretty. But I haven't been doing well for the last 7 months. So, I'm pretty numb. But this friend woke me the hell up. And his words were, don't know what's going on with you, but what I do know is that you need to do what you're supposed to be doing with your talk show. So I'm gonna need you to get up, pick up your iPhone, share your story, but you're gonna need to get up. And so, of course, I commenced to telling him, but you don't understand. I lost my dad. I lost my husband. I'm just stuck. I feel like I'm at a four-way. So I gave him my little spiel on the four-way intersection and all the lights are red, so I can't move. And he said, oh, that's cute. You know, you can save that for your book. But the Arlette I know would run all four lights. And at that point, I said, wow, you know, you're right. You're right. So then I said, yeah, but you know, I can't do it. I said, I feel like God has given me the puzzle and I have all these pieces of the puzzle, but I can't put it all together. And he said, well, you know, God is not gonna, he gave you the pieces. You gotta put in the work. You have to put the puzzle together. God's gonna give you the tools. He's not gonna put the key in the ignition, turn the car on, and drive it for you. So he was right. And I thought I would share my story with you guys because, y'all, grieving ain't for wimps. And anybody that knows me know I'm not a wimp. If I can get through this, you can get through this. Lean on friends. Call somebody. Talk to them. Call a grief resource group. There are so many of them. There's griefshare.org. That's one option. There's also an organization called GROW, GROWW, which stands for Grief. Let me put my eyes on y'all. Grief Recovery Online Widows and Widowers. If you are a reader, David Kessler and Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, if you don't know, was the Swedish psychiatrist who created the 5 stages of grief. And she and David Keller, who is a grief expert, they wrote the book called Grieving, Grief and Grieving, which I highly recommend that you read. As I said, grief ain't for wimps. So the struggle is real. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be too prideful. Go through the grieving process. You gotta go through the grieving process. You have to be in it. But whatever you do, don't give up. Thank you guys for listening. I encourage you to please tune in to realtalkwitharlette.com. Let me hear from you. If you'd like to be a guest on our show, click Let's Talk and just put guest in the subject line. Until next time, I encourage you to be faithful, be fearless, but most importantly, just be yourself. Bye-bye.